everyone, this is Kiwiji and I am back with another Artist Alley tip video. This time it's going to be about your table displays. So I want to apologize first. I don't have all my usual equipment with me here in Malaysia. Most of you know I am a frequent convention artist in the UK, but recently moved back to Malaysia. So rebuying all the stuff was definitely a bit challenging, and getting everything up to my standards of table display was, just finding all the little knickknacks here and there. I definitely didn't really achieve it this time, but the next Malaysian con, I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna bring my A game. So now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna be going over some tips about how to make your table displays look good. But I just want to say that I don't really think that I am 100% qualified to give advice on this. I always enjoy other people's table displays much more than my own. But I suppose that's the same for everyone, because when it's the same when it comes to your art as well. You always enjoy other people's things rather than your own things. So I thought I'd just give some thoughts on what I think would be helpful for your table display. Maybe a little bit less on how to make it look good, but just some tips to help with how the table will look in general. So the first thing you probably noticed is that I put two types of tablecloths down on the table, and this was an idea that I saw when I was in SunnyCon, and I thought it was really nice. It just gives the table a little bit of color and a little bit of it's all about your aesthetic, your brand. What is your brand? And my brand is kind of really cute and really colorful, so I put down two different tablecloths just to make it pop a little bit. There were other tables at the convention where they had way more colorful pieces of tablecloth, but I sometimes wonder if having too colorful tablecloth would distract from the merchandise on your table. I'm not too sure. How about you give it a shot yourself and see what works for you. So basic display options are the wire cubes, and they're always useful. You can use them to make little shelves, as I've done to put my pillows on display. It's nice to make little shelving units out of them. If you have the translucent ones, not the wire ones, just the solid wall ones, you can use them to hide stuff behind the table, where you can put your money box there and everything, and not have it exposed. But if you don't have wire cubes available, which I think you can find them pretty much on Amazon, any Amazon. If you're in Malaysia, I found mine through Lazada. The brand is Sokano wire cubes. So if you're interested in looking for those, what I find difficult with wire cubes is that they can be quite heavy. So I'm gonna put up a little picture of my stand in MCM London, where you see that I put most of my prints on a photography stand. And that particular photography stand was also pretty heavy, but I have found some alternatives to that heavy one. I found one that was only about like 3 kg in weight, according to the Amazon website, recommended by a friend. So photography stands are also a really good idea to display all of your your prints, and they don't take up as much space as the wire cubes do. And the wire cubes, when you buy loads of them, they can get quite heavy and kind of get in the way a little bit. And plus with the photography stand, you can adjust it to whatever height that you want. Or if you feel a little bit, you know, like a challenge, or you feel daring enough, you can always go for PVC tubes. And the reason why I never tried PVC tubes is because they can be quite expensive to buy all together, and you have to really like arrange. You really need to measure out the table dimensions, or measure out the sort of thing that you want before, and you have to buy all the connectors. And to me personally, it's a little bit of a hassle, but a lot of people find that PVC tubes, it's like a photography stand and a wire cube mixed into one. You can make little shelves out of PVC tubes, and you can make them go as high as you want. The sky is the limit. So if you want PVC tubes, go ahead and give it a shot. I can't say I've tried it myself, but honestly, pick which one works for you: wire cubes, photography stands, or the PVC tubes. What I always think is helpful during a convention is giving your table quite a bit of height, because you know there are a lot of people in the convention itself, and you know their heads are going to be craning upwards. So making sure your table is your prints are displayed at a good height will definitely capture the eyes of people who are walking by. But you know, like the problem with using just wire cubes, as you might see as we're struggling to put it up, it can get a little bit unstable the higher you go. So that's why at MCM London I use a photography stand instead. But yeah, that doesn't really change the fact that height is important. You know, some artists go even higher than my table, and you can see it from miles away. And that definitely captures people's eyes. You know, people see it from afar and they're like, that looks cool. That stand looks cool. That stand doesn't even look like it needs our money. We should go check it out. You know what I mean? So height is pretty important. But you know, you don't have to stretch yourself too thin and make it super high and leaving the middle and the table itself completely empty. You know, some people are going to be craning upwards, but people are going to be craning downwards as well, you know, looking at the table as they're walking past, you know, because people's heads get tired. And you know, it's important to keep the actual table part of your table busy as well. So keeping the actual table part of your table busy is a challenge. You can't really do it with prints because prints are flat, and you want a bit of imagine little mountains of like little hills on your table. You want something to stand up from the table. You know, I tried using acrylic stands to display some prints, but you know, I always find that to be a little bit like there's limits to what you can do with acrylic stands, especially displaying art, because you know the art in the front blocks the art in the back. It's all sort of brouhaha. So I've seen people use things like folders. You know, like there was a table at Comic Fiesta which had multiple folders. She had 3 folders of her portfolio, her entire portfolio available, so more people could look at it at once. You know, so when someone is looking at it, there are 2 other folders that you can look through, so people have more opportunity to look at your art. And I think folders are pretty great if you are majority print artists. You know, you can have you can have your entire portfolio there, so when people are craning down and looking at the table, they'll just give it a little flip through, see if there's something interesting that they like. So if you're majority a print artist, that's going to be really helpful for you. And it also does give a little color to your table as well, if your prints are really colorful, that is. But if you're the sort of person that likes doing different types of merchandise, like I'm trying to branch into different types of merchandise, this is where your merchandise like charms and badges, maybe pouches, or my pillows, this is where it really comes in. And this is where the displays on your table showing off your badges and your charms and everything that you have to offer, the middle of the table, the actual table part of your table, this is where all of them come in. And I can't really give you any advice on how to actually display them. I've seen different types, you know, the more the pretty standard ones are using cork boards. The pretty standard types is to use cork boards. Like I've used a cork board to display my Boku no Hero charms, and then also use sticky washi tape to kind of make the board a little bit pretty, a little bit more pretty. I saw a really good idea where someone used little cupcake wrappers, and she put the badges inside the cupcake wrappers and just had rows and rows of them on the table, and I thought that was really clever because cupcake wrappers are really colorful. So honestly, it's important to have height, but don't stretch it up too high and make the middle and the table too empty, because you want the whole thing to be you want the whole table to be busy. You don't want it to be anything less. You want it to be kind of like a bombardment of visual things. So when people stop by your table, they really stop by your table and see what you have to offer. I think that's the greatest strength that you can have as an artist and designing your table, is to just make it as visually appealing as possible, so when people stop, they really stop because they are interested in what you have to offer. I know that this is pretty short as compared to my other Artist Alley videos, but I'm not really sure if there's much I can add to it. You know, if you're ever stuck on ideas, a good place to go and check things out would be Pinterest. Just go and look at other people's tables, just kind of nick little ideas here and there. You know, people are creative, incredibly creative in what they do. And if you feel a little bit stuck, there's no harm in going to get inspired, not stealing entirely, but getting inspired by what other people are doing. And that's really all the advice I can give you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I hope you enjoyed seeing me set up my table. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. At least just a little bit, just to calm your nerves a little bit. If anyone has any questions about Artist Alleys or anything, you can always leave a comment below and I'll answer it as best as I can. And yes, thank you so much for watching. Bye.